Yes, people was good. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the F1 Grand Prix review. Guess who's back? Back again, Agastya. Welcome back to the channel, bro. It's been a while, and it's been some time since we caught. Obviously, we spoken briefly on chat on the phone or whatever that because you and I are close. But back on YouTube, how you doing, bro?
The
Everything okay?
GOAT is back.
Yes,
As you
sir.
said, I can guess who's back. Back again. The GOAT is back. Tell a friend. No, I'm
Yes,
back.
sir. Yes,
And
sir.
to all those who have been concerned, no, I was not blacklisted. No, I was not banned. No, I was not suspended. No, I definitely did not abandon AN Sports. Why would I abandon one of the fastest growing, best
You've been in the
sports
chat.
channels in the world?
You've been in the chat, so you're fine.
Exactly. And as PY said, no, I've also not been Shannon Sharped. Definitely not been Shannon Sharped. I've just been dealing with a couple medical emergencies over the last few weeks. So been dealing with that, recovering with that. I have been in the chat. I have been watching most of your shows, Akavin. Brilliant work, all the shows, especially the ones with Josh and you getting owned by a specific cough Barlin Mando. But apart from that, yeah, happy to be back. Hopefully, I am back for a while. Unfortunately, it's a shame I won't be able to talk about the NBA playoffs because my team decided to jump out in the first round
Well,
without even getting a fight.
your team is still in it, Cleveland.
Yeah, but the team I wanted to win, I have a
Okay.
lot to say on that. We'll save that for another time. But I guess today, Ekavin, we're here to talk about the man from Antarctica, the
Yes.
man who has ice in his veins, the man who is colder than the Arctic, Oscar Piastri, the Aussie. So, Ekavin, let's
Yep.
go.
As we said backstage, but yeah, people, like I said, whenever you're entering the building, make sure you guys are hitting the like button on your way in, as it's important as you do so. It helps out with the algorithm, and we're growing every single day. We're at 224 subs now, looking to get to 225 by the end of today. Hopefully, just one sub is needed. Like I said, AN Sports on YouTube. Big up my guy Rasta. My guy, you're up so late, man. How's it over there in New York, bro? By the way, if you haven't known, me and Rasta have been doing streams as of late. He has a channel called. This is his channel right here, Rasta Stops. If you, he's a United fan. He's a very chill guy. He's from New York. Well, he's from Jamaica, but he lives in New York. But big up to you, Rasta, every single
Yeah,
time, bro.
I've seen him in the comments. Got some
Yeah,
very intelligent, articulate takes.
he's a top guy. He's a top guy, man.
Oh,
And
for sure, understatement, man.
much love to him. And like I said, people, it helps out with the algorithm. It helps out with the channel as we're growing every single day. 6 subs to get to 230 subs. I've been uploading shorts every single day. YouTube shorts. Make sure you guys do check out my YouTube shorts. I've been doing all time lineups for football. I'll be doing some F1 content. Maybe doing some NBA content as we go. But yeah, like I said, tune in, like, share, and subscribe. But let's get started. Obviously, Oscar Piastri is the world number one as it stands. As things stand, Oscar Piastri is the guy. He's the how would you say it? He's
He's the man. He is the number one contender. He's the favorite for the championship.
and did you and I call this? Pretty much not us for sure, because when we did the season predictions, you and I never tipped Oscar Piastri to be in that top two come the end of the season. But fair play, this guy is on a roll right now, and
Yeah,
he's
Ekavin,
the form.
only one guy on our show called Oscar Piastri in the championship fight, and that was the most deluded guy on the panel, Liam.
Surprisingly, it's
Yeah,
surprisingly called
dude,
it.
he missed so badly he made a shot. Like his
Fact.
top three was Max, Oscar, and Kimmy. That was his top three for the season, and somehow it doesn't look too bad off.
No, it's true. The thing is, right? Like sometimes you just throw it out there. You just never know you get it right. Like how I did with the Newcastle Liverpool one. I said 2-1 Newcastle, just as a joke,
Profit.
and then it's like you just throw your predictions out there. You just never know what can happen. Like years ago, I said I had 3 PSG 1. It actually happened. So listen, at the end of the day, we got to do what we got to do. So, but anyways, Oscar Piastri, I haven't heard from you in a while about F1, so I want you to take it away. Oscar Piastri is the man in form right now, and like he's the favorite for the championship, did he? Gotta be.
Oh, 1000%. What I did say at the beginning of the season was if McLaren do have that rocket ship coming into the season, which at the end of last year, as we all know, doesn't take Albert Einstein to see this, they were the fastest car. They won the Constructors' Championship for a reason. This
Yeah.
season, it should have been McLaren versus Ferrari, because if you look at the back end of last season, McLaren had the fastest car, but who had the fastest momentum? Ferrari. But what happened? For some God knows whatever fucking reason, as Ferrari seem to do every single week, it's in their DNA. 21st century Ferrari DNA post Michael Schumacher is bottle. That's what they always do. Fred Vasseur said, hey, let's scrap that car entirely. Let's scrap all the momentum we built. Let's sacrifice our 2025 year and build for 2026. High risk, high reward. Again, we can't call that decision a failure yet, although I would make the case that because Ferrari are the biggest and best franchise in F1 history, your aim should be to win every single season. But if they do dominate next year and it comes at the cost of this season, okay, fine, it's somewhat acceptable. However, because Ferrari scrapped that car, it was just McLaren. Because Red Bull have obviously been imploding. We know what's happening backstage. It's Max literally holding this team on his back. He needs a chiropractor because I don't know how he's taken that fourth fastest car, 2 wins, let alone in the championship race. And Mercedes, you know what, are rising. We'll talk about them in a bit, I'm sure, Kevin, but kudos to Mercedes. They have slowly but surely, against all the media speculation, they've been on the ascent. But
they're projected that next year too.
Yeah, exactly. That is a great point, Kevin. But unfortunately, the season that we thought would be the greatest season of all time this year, it's not going to be that because you have one team that is lapping a second quicker than every other car. Yesterday, Kevin, when the race happened, I think McLaren finished almost a minute ahead of George Russell. Think about how insane that is, Kevin. A minute behind their nearest competitor. To put that into context, Red Bull, with their RB19, with the mastermind, the mega brain, the brainiac that is Adrian Newey, the greatest of all time when it comes to developing cars, he never managed to master a gap that large when he was in charge of the RB19. So what McLaren have done in the span of 3 years is nothing shy of legendary, extraordinary, and revolutionary. Now, we know it's McLaren. It's McLaren alone. So it's Oscar, it's Lando. Kevin, as you said, at the beginning of the season, gun to the head. If you had to pick a McLaren driver that was going to win the championship, we would have both said Lando, right? Because
we both said Lando, I agree.
Yeah, because he was the guy that, they touted as the number one option. He was the guy that Zach Brown loved.
Been down this year. Completely.
Yeah. 100%.
Much better race from him this weekend, though. I can't lie. Like compared to most weeks, I think he's been much faster this week compared to most weeks. I think he's, in terms of race pace and in terms of just looking at it from an outside standpoint, I think McLaren have had the better week. I think if you ask me for this weekend alone, McLaren have had the best weekend this weekend. They won the sprints, double podium on the sprints. Not only that, they got the double podium on the race as well. Scrap qualifying, that doesn't count. Talking about the 2 races this weekend that's happened, bro, they've dominated this weekend. And it's been the best weekend for McLaren, I think, this season as a whole.
Dude, like I said, Kevin, do you remember a time watching a team win by over 1 minute? Because that's what McLaren did. They won by nearly 1 minute to George Russell.
Yeah.
That's how big the gap was. I've never seen it. I think the last time I saw...
Albeit the safety car kind of won them the race, because if the safety car wasn't coming out, Lewis Hamilton would have overtaken both the McLaren drivers in the sprints, because the safety car came out, so everyone had to slow down. So that's why Lewis Hamilton didn't overtake him. By the time they had come out of the pit lane, Lewis Hamilton could have been ahead. So this is what I'm saying. It kind of changed everything. But you can't blame the safety car for the race the way it ended and everything. So I continue, bro.
No, you are 1,000,000% correct, Kevin. I don't want to sound like Will Buxton here when I say this, but sprint race, it's a sprint, not a marathon. The F1 Championship is a marathon, sprint 25% race distance. So It's not really proportionate to how good you are on a race day. And when you talk about McLaren on the race day, as Crofty and Martin Brundle pointed out on numerous occasions, they were lapping over 1 minute. Oh, no, not 1 minute. My goodness, that would be like fucking a spaceship versus a go-kart. They were lapping a second a lap over their nearest competitor. That is nuts, by the way. That is in a league of its own, and that's an understatement. So you're lapping a second amongst everyone else, which means PY, it's been a minute. Man, I talked about you in the beginning. Thank you for all the love and the support. No, I wasn't blacklisted, by the way. No, I wasn't banned. No, I didn't abandon the show. I've just been dealing with some medical emergencies, but I missed you, brother. Hopefully you got to hop on in the show as well because you're a legend. You are the MVP here.
Yep. Shout out Rasta. What's your what's your channel? If you want to plug in anything, you want to plug your channels in, you can plug it to him.
No, at the moment I don't have any channel. I do talk about politics and the world of finance and war on Rumble. It's a channel called Authentic World Analysis. That's where I talk about that. Apart from that, I'm appearing on all different places. So I'm on Saeed's channel for sometimes. I'm on Ekavin's place. So we just vary here and there. But speaking of varying, what is varying is the order of McLaren.
Nah, King will be back.
Yeah, Ekavin, how dare you? Ekavin, how dare you? How dare you bully one of your most loyal viewers? That's despicable behavior. We need to throw a red flag for you, Ekavin. That's awful, man.
Speaking of red flags, should the sprints have been red flagged? We could have had racing towards the end. We could have had a race towards the end of the final 3 laps. I think it was for a red flag.
Put it this way, just like the Premier League, the FIA are so inconsistent and disproportionate with their refereeing. They don't know what the rules are. Should they have red flagged it today? If they did, what would have happened at Abu Dhabi? I mean, Zach Brown himself pointed it out. What the FIA, how they ended the sprint is exactly how they should have ended Abu Dhabi under the safety car rule. So no, I don't think there should have been a red flag because we were towards the end of the race. We should have ended under the safety car. That's exactly how Abu Dhabi 2021 should have also ended, under the safety car. But nah, I don't think there should have been a red flag. And the only 100%. Yeah. But I also think it's I don't want to 100% blame the refs. I also think it's lack of transparency and ambiguity with the rules. I think the rules are just too ambiguous. There is too much interpretation and subjectivity. I think there needs to be a lot more decisiveness and bottom line in terms of what the rules are. Because the refs, again, there is no transparency whatsoever in terms of officiating, and nobody knows the rules half the time. Like even in F1, for example, some of the drivers themselves don't even know some rule changes. So, and the rule changes that they focus on are rule changes on virtue signaling. They talk about social issues and political issues, which have no impact on the sport itself. So I agree with you. I think referees, they need to stay in their lane. Remember what their job is: to regulate the game. Regulate doesn't mean intervene. It just means monitor and make sure the right thing is happening. So PY, you are 1,000 million infinite % correct there. And just like that, I think that Oscar Piastri, Ekavin, when you talk about Oscar Piastri versus Lando Norris, one of those drivers push come to shove when the back was against the wall, when the spotlight was on them, and when the pressure was at its brightest. One of them folded. The other folded the pressure. And Oscar Piastri has suddenly somehow become the number 1 driver.
No, that's what I mean. Like, sometimes decisions can go against you. And looking at the FIA, inconsistencies have been I would say a massive negative factor because, like I said, I want to bring back last year as well. Do you remember last year, right? Do you remember last year? What's it called? Do you remember was it Abu Dhabi or was it Qatar? One of the races last year. There was debris on the track. We were doing a live show. There was debris on the track. Mm-hmm. And the FIA did not call for a clearance. But they didn't call a yellow flag. They said, let's just continue. But instead, they ended up racing through the pit lane. And I'm like, where's the consistency in that? Because time after time after time, the FIA is going to make a decision. Okay, we're gonna bring out the safety car. We're gonna bring out the yellow flag. We follow according to what the FIA says. But then last year, it costed Charles Leclerc. It costed so many other races as well last year. You know what I'm saying, bro? It's just constant inconsistent decision making from the FIA is why the sport, or motorsport, I should say, is kind of up in the air. Because it's all the controversy. They want to sell headlines. They want to make it. how would you say it? They want to make it very, very
They want to commercialize it. They want to
exactly.
corporatize it.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do, and that's what's exactly happened with the Premier League. I know Rasta's in the chat, so I'd love to hear what he thinks about this as well. And PY, if you do watch football, I think this is a problem that's across sport. This is a problem that's across sport, when not just about the refereeing, but also the corporate capture. You talk about how much influence corporations have with sport in general, like in the Premier League relegation race has basically become non-existent because the favoritism is in every sport. 100%, 1000%. You see what's happening in the Saudi.
Brown envelopes has been an inside joke between me and Rasta, because we always because last show we laughed at that word. I was like, was it last show? Was show before we were laughing at the word brown envelopes? It was hilarious. Like, I literally like he literally did this. I was like, okay, money. But yeah, it's true though. A lot of brown envelopes, like from I wouldn't say teams, but there's something really going on behind the scenes that we just do not know about. Like that's why decision making is so off key. You know what I'm saying? But forget the FIA for a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you mentioned Oscar Piastri. Let's talk about Lando Norris. What has been the key factor for him this year, and why do you think he's dropped off? Because for me, like, I think they wanted to turn their attention to Oscar, and they wanted to give Oscar the better seat because they wanted to give him his confidence. Is it just me, or do they not care about Lando anymore, or do they think Lando Norris is not the priority anymore compared to Oscar? Because looking at Lando Norris, he struggled a lot this year, big time, and his cars have not been on point going to race weekends. Sorry, go on.
You're 100% right, except I would say, unlike Red Bull, where there is favoritism towards Max, where that car is molded and tailored towards Max's setup, McLaren is equal. They both have the same machinery. They both have the same engine. They both have the exact same race pace and race output. Of course, you're on different strategy sometimes. But if you look at Piastri, Oscar and Piastri, Lando and Oscar, it's been relatively the same. The biggest difference, I think, this season, and I hate to say it, the mind. I say it all the time. I say it not just in sport, but in politics, in life, in business, in finance, in performance, in studies. The mind is the biggest tool or the biggest.
And that's why Max Verstappen's a champion.
100%. But that's also the reason why Lando has faltered. Because what's crazy to me here, Ackerman, is, do you know who has more race wins in their career? Oscar Piastri or Lando Norris?
Oscar Piastri.
And that's nuts, because he's only been in F1 for 2 years. Lando has been in F1 for nearly a decade.
Oscar Piastri, wait, did he overtake Lando Norris this weekend as more wins?
Yes, he did.
That is crazy. That is mental. Like, actually, for real, like Lando Norris was McLaren's lead driver, mind you.
He's still, by the way, and I want to add, he still is.
And Carlos Sainz swap, but this is crazy because he's in the second season. Sorry, go on, bro. I just wanted to say that.
No, but Ekevin, you're 100% right. Oh, 100%. Preach. 100%. You are spitting facts. Phoenix Machine PY there. The mind does guide the body, and at the end of the day, you can be as talented as you want, but if you don't have it up here, you'll never make it to the top. It's like in every sport. Most professional athletes, they have the ability to win any single game, the best games. The problem is the mind lets them down. You see it in basketball with the likes of Joel Embiid, for example, or with the Houston Rockets when they face the Warriors. The mind is your catalyst for success, and that's the difference. And also, as a competitor, I'm all for transparency. I'm all for telling the world how you really feel, breaking that PR filter, being authentic, being raw, being yourself. I think we need more personality. That's what also creates more interest, drama, intrigue, and also viewers in the sport. However, don't show your vulnerability. Oh, yes, he's the best.
Great point. Because Ben Simmons was out. And Joe's funny. I don't even think he's been that bad this playoffs. You know, Ben Simmons was kind of a decent player in terms of for the Clippers this playoffs. Although the Clippers lost in 7. But this is a great example, or even another one, Dele Alli. I know he went through a lot off the pitch, right, and off the outside of football. But let's look at mindset, and let's look at just where his focus was completely off of football. Yes, obviously that mental health issues can be an issue, but look at Ben Simmons, another one. The guy was a really good player at basket. He was a really good player. Didn't he win Rookie of the Year as well at one point? Didn't he win Rookie of the Year? I'm not sure if he will. I'm not sure if he won it, but he was one of the players that was in the. He was in all NBA team as well, at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if he was Rookie of the Year, but what I do know is, prospectively, before Ben Simmons' career, people were touting him to be the next LeBron James. I know Colin Cowherd had that most outrageous, egregious, preposterous take saying that, hey, LeBron, you can retire. Ben Simmons, yeah, Ben Simmons is the next guy. Now he's better than most analysts, but the fact that we had that high expectations for Ben Simmons, the talent never disappeared. You don't lose your talent in one day. He was still training as normal. What did disappear was the mind, mentally. And I think also when you talk about that across sport, Ekevin, and PY and Rasta, I think the best example is actually Lionel Messi, because Lionel Messi in Argentina, nobody will ever deny that Lionel Messi is one of the most talented sports people ever. Period. I would make the case in terms of pure footballing ability. He's been the best footballer for the better part of 2 decades. But look at his Argentinian career. 2014, 2015, 2016, 2019. Up until the first time he won his first international trophy in 2021, he was losing in 5 consecutive finals. Why is that?
He retired as well, and he came back.
Because he had everything down there, but when it came to being that leader, saying, hey, everything is on me. It's on me. We win, it's on me. We lose, it's on me.
And just funny, that exact same year, Ronaldo won the Euros.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's one chapter of the story. And the story didn't end the way you wanted it to end, Ekevin.
We'll see.
Really? You think we're getting a part 2?
What?
A part 2 of Messi versus Ronaldo at the World Cup?
Nobody knows. That's all I'll say. Nobody knows.
You are certainly very optimistic. But yeah,
we're just using an example, mate. We're just using an example.
No, Josh, you just showed up at the wrong time. We've been talking about mental strength in the sport, Josh.
See you tonight, bro. This is gonna be my 3rd stream today. Like, if I go live with you, this is gonna be my 3rd stream with him today. So hey, big up, Josh, man. Shout out to you, bro. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Watch Josh get owned by everyone in the chat, and his daddy Barlin Mando show up again. Right, both of you owned by them, by the way. So
you know the guy? Do you know the guy?
I have no idea who he is. Do you know who he is?
No. Do you know the guy that was on? Do you know that burner account? Like, do you know who he was? Or he was just a...
No. I literally don't know who he was, but whoever he was, he is a fax machine. That guy only speaks truths. Yeah, hustle mode, man.
Fair enough, bro. Sorry, go on.
But yeah, on Oscar and Lando, man, Lando shows too much vulnerability. Every single press conference, he says, I'm not good enough. I can't win. This driver is better than me. He says it verbatim. And as a competitor, mind games are so important. Mental fortitude is the most important thing. You cannot ever show signs of vulnerability. You cannot ever feed into their confidence. And Oscar Piastri, on the other hand, he might be the most composed driver I've ever seen in my life. Him and Kimi Räikkönen. Because every single time they're in a pressure situation, they're calm. Their heart rate must be the most normal in human history. Not too high, not too low. They're relaxed. Business as usual.
The one thing for me is, like, I did sports science in school, right? When I was in school, I did sports science, right? One thing I learned, right? The one thing I will take with me for the rest of my life, the lesson I will learn is mindset is everything. And it's all about mentality. It's all about cognitive thinking. Like, because when you're in a situation where you're down and out, you need to bring everyone up. If everyone around you is down, as a leader, you need to bring it up. You need to bring your team up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I just want to add real quick, you're 100% right. And every human being goes through hardship. Every human being goes through struggle or success. But at the end of the day, you choose how you react to that hardship. You can stay oppressed. You can stay blessed. I can make a case for myself over the last month with what I've gone through. That, hey, I am completely oppressed. My goodness, I'm going through medical emergencies, physical, mental abuse, whatever you want to talk about. But I'm not going to do that because I know what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I know that, hey, I have the manpower and the money to cope with the issues and illnesses that I have. And that's what, what the high level athletes do. Not that I'm saying I am one, of course, but it's the mind. You dictate the fate of your own destiny. It's all in your head. It's all in you. And Ekevin, like you just said with Max Verstappen, that's why Max and Lewis are the greatest drivers of all time, because give them a car that's 2 or 3 tenths within the peak, within winning a championship, they will win. Negative affirmations will reinforce poor self-esteem. Exactly. Very profound and precise, man. Hell yeah, of course. Stay oppressed or stay blessed. That's what you need to do. That's what we need to embrace. And
Sorry,
it's a tragedy.
I didn't realize I was on mute there. My bad. I was saying this is facts. Like, I was saying this is facts from PY. Big up, man.
Oh, 100%. He is 100% accurate. Everyone in the chat is cooking and eating today, as usual. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a really shame for Lando Norris because in terms of raw talent, I think he is quicker than Oscar Piastri. But as the tale goes, one man is just calm, and any iota of a mistake that Lando makes, Oscar capitalizes, pounces, and will prevail. And there's a reason this season Oscar Piastri has won more races than every single driver combined. That's nuts. And he still is the number 2 driver at McLaren while he's doing all this.
I hear it.
He'd be stupid not to.
I've got no idea what he's on about, but I mean, I think this is more than William Shakespeare. What he's doing. So
yeah, bro. I'm not just an analyst. I'm a prophet. I'm a preacher. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Be students, be astronauts be preachers, or something like that.
Good song, by the way. You see, I've met them, by the way. Speaking of the script.
Oh, you met them?
I have, yeah. They come to Bangkok multiple times.
Fair enough.
And he's a big United fan. Danny O'Donnell, the lead singer.
But we'll move on to unless you have anything more to say about McLaren. We can talk about that, and we can move on to the next one.
No, just for the fact that unless any team can produce the craziest development over the next few weeks, McLaren are going to dominate the season. This season will be one-way traffic, the same way Liverpool did in 2020.
We're from Thailand. We're both from Bangkok. I mean, we live nearby each other, like very nearby. Well, I wouldn't say like neighbors, but we live, say 20 minutes away from each other, if no traffic, just around 20 minutes from each other.
Yeah, but with Bangkok traffic, it's like an hour.
No, but without traffic, it's like 20 minutes to each other's houses.
But no, it's around 3:30 p.m. over here.
Are you in the East Coast? Are you from Chicago?
He must be. He's not East Coast. He must be Central America.
Must be Chicago, because I think Chicago is just about Central America, or I think maybe like Utah. No, actually not Utah. Sorry, just around maybe like New Orleans or something like that. Yeah.
I'd say like Central America, like Texas, because I think they're 12 hours behind. And New York is like
oh, you're an hour outside of Chicago. Okay, fair enough. So he's pretty much
cool.
in Chicago then, like nearby Chicago. That's right. Shout out to you, mate. Shout out to you. But yeah, so let's continue. I just want to big up one driver. Obviously, he's earned a fan. He's earned a supporter, and Kimi Antonelli, once again proving the doubters wrong, proving why he's been the Rookie of the Year, proving why he can definitely be a top driver, competing in championships soon. So big up Kimi Antonelli. George Russell and Mercedes, they're looking really, really strong. Like, honestly, fair play to Mercedes. I mean, I didn't think that they would be a team contending for a championship this year, but they're in the mix with McLaren. But obviously, they're not gonna overtake McLaren, but they're at least within the conversation of potentially, climbing up the ladder. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, next let's talk about. Unless you want to say something. to add to that?
Yeah, you say mix. I mean, if you're talking about mix, smoothie mix, whatever mix you want to talk about, there's one smoothie from McLaren and 9 other teams that mix. Mercedes are at the top of that mix. So um, I think he definitely showed he can
I think
hang with the big.
some bikini. I think.
1,000,000%. Yeah, 1,000,000% PY. He is so impressive. He is this generation's Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, Michael Schumacher, and he's done it before F1 as well. He was winning championships across Europe as a young teenager, which is nuts, by the way. Kimi is amazing. Kimi's raw talent is crazy. I just want to throw something out really quickly. Bold prediction. Don't be surprised if Max and Kimi Antonetti at some point in the future is a driver pairing, because Toto Wolff has made it clear the 2 drivers he admires the most, Max and Kimi. Don't be surprised if that happens in the future. Also, don't be surprised if Max Verstappen goes to Aston Martin, because that Red Bull team is imploding by every metric. And one more point, you big up Kimi Antonetti, who thoroughly deserves it. Youngest ever pole sitter, the first teenage pole sitter ever. I get it, great. But George Russell, let's give Woody some credit. Let's give Woody some credit, because he's, again, I think he's been on the podium more times than not this year, 4 podiums in a car that, yes, you can say it is probably the second quickest car, but it's definitely up there in the same pace as a Ferrari. It's not that much quicker than Ferrari or Red Bull. So kudos to George Russell. He has been Mr. Ultra consistent, day in and day out, putting the work in, not just from a on-track perspective, but also off the track. Whereas last time, like last few seasons when he was with Lewis, Lewis was the guinea pig. Lewis was the one that was basically doing the experimental setups. This time, George is not just taking command on track, he's taking it off track and from a leadership perspective. So to me, George Russell is my most improved driver this season. Oh, and Ekevin is gone. Heard a loud noise. Hopefully it's not a bomb or something. Although I'd be very surprised if a bomb dropped in Bangkok, because we're one of the only countries in the world not in any conflict. PY, you're from the Midwest. Rasta Stocks, you're somewhere in the Midwest. George will be great at Red Bull, says AD. To an extent, I guess, because he's not a big personality. His ego is not going to clash with Helmut Marko and Christian Horner. And also, he can, as you can see, he has the maturity to conduct experimental setups. But I just don't see why he would go to Red Bull. I just don't see why they would be interested in him either. But I think he's a good fit, for sure. Good shout.
But let's move on quickly, because I do have to wrap up, because I do have to go in a bit here. Let's quickly talk about Ferrari's woes that have been continuing this year. As you mentioned, fucking hell, sorry about that one. Apologies to that, people.
Yeah,
but you can start with the Ferrari talk, anyways. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I think Ferrari have a lot more disruptions than Ekevin's having at the moment. Water is wet, man. Every single race, Ferrari self-inflicted destruction. For the first time, though, there was actually some pushback, and there was some public pushback. We've known the fact that Ferrari, there is a lack of coherency and structure across the board between the drivers and the team.
Apologies. Do you expect another knock in five? Do you expect another knock? Because I know it's gonna be knocking on the door.
Hey, thanks for the reminder and the warning I given. Think
I'm not home, so
yeah, that's commitment, man. Commitment to the cause. Streaming when you're not home. Only the very best do that. But yeah, on Ferrari, what do I need to say anything? It is sheer incompetence, and it is indefensible. What Ferrari have done is indefensible. First, we can talk about it from a strategy perspective. Okay, different strategies. That second stint is completely representative of what went wrong with Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton was on the medium tires. Charles Leclerc was on the hard tires. Medium tires are quicker in the short term. Harder tires are quicker in the long term at the end of the stint. What do Ferrari decide to do? Both of them are neck and neck. Leclerc is in front of Hamilton. Hamilton is behind Leclerc. Hamilton can overtake Leclerc, but they're fighting. When you fight, it drains your tires. So what a normal team would do is say, hang on a minute, Hamilton is on the quicker tires. Let's work as a team because we're not competing for a driver's championship. We're competing for a constructor's championship against Red Bull and Mercedes. Let's let the quicker car, the quicker man, the quicker tire go in front. And let's see if he can chase up to Kimi Antonelli, Mercedes, and whoever's in front of him. And if he can't chase them at the end of the race, we'll do the switcheroo. Charles Leclerc can take that place back. But no, instead, for 3 laps, which by the way is the optimal time for those medium tires when they have just kicked in, when he has done his outlap very well, when those tires are basically optimized. What does Ferrari do instead? They deliberate. Should we do it? No, we're thinking about it. No, let's talk to Charles. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then finally, after all that talking, when they make the maneuver, Lewis's tires are gone. And then when Lewis's tires are gone, they want to swap Charles and Lewis. So then they tell Charles, hey, you go in front of Lewis. And then what happened? They didn't tell Lewis to do the swap. So Charles, they weren't on the same page to begin with. Yeah, exactly. There was a tea break. They had a feast. They talked about everything under the sun. It's pure incompetence from Ferrari, from a strategy standpoint. These are basic errors. These are textbook errors. But the problem with Ferrari is not just that. Its communication is gone, but standards don't exist. Because like I said at the beginning of the show, no biggest franchise of your sport should ever sacrifice a season. They should never throw the white flag before the season has started. I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, we didn't even throw the white flag. We just never participated. United never even started.
But anyway, last question, yeah, because I do have to go, yeah. Do you think Charles Leclerc should have been allowed a path back into the sprint race? Because obviously, like I said, they took a long break before the race started. I know formation lap he did crash out, right? But then do you think he should have been allowed to race again and fix his car? Because they didn't race till like about half an hour later after he made the crash. So you know what I'm saying? Just quickly give your thoughts and I'll have to wrap up.
I think the moment the mechanics or there's outside interference touching the vehicle, you're out of the race. So no, I think they didn't apply the rules correctly there, which is a rare W for the FIA. So no, I guess it makes sense that he wasn't allowed back into the race.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I just think it's just a complete calamity from Ferrari. It's like a complete letdown, like a complete letdown. Like I'll be honest with you, like everything just went wrong for Ferrari this weekend. No pace, no nothing. Just complete like dead, bro. I'll be honest with you, bro. Same old, same old. Next week's gonna be the same. The week after's gonna be the same. They're gonna sacrifice this year for next year. Same old crap, bro. Genuinely, same old crap, and I'm tired of it. Like as a Ferrari fan, I want to see Ferrari compete. Like last year, towards the end, I saw competitive. I was like, you know what, fair enough. Good end to the season. I'll take it. Go on to next season. Bring this on to next year. What you do, you go and change shit up, and it's completely dead. Completely ruins your whole entire year. But hopefully, Ferrari do continue to make changes and do can get back. But I think McLaren are going to run away with it, and one of their drivers going to be the champion of the year. But anyways, yeah. Sorry, you want to say something?
I 100% agree with you. Everything you said up until the last part. Yes, they'll run away with the constructors, but don't discount Max Verstappen. Don't discount him because he has the fourth fastest car, yet he's only a handful of points behind Lando, and he's 20 points behind Oscar. We're only a quarter way in the season. That's nothing. And I want to add, there has been reports that Red Bull have said they will do anything they can to make sure Max has the car by the second half of the season that is as good, if not better than McLaren. So Red Bull are throwing all their eggs in the basket this season. And do you know why they're doing that? Because in Max Verstappen's contract, there is a clause that states if he doesn't finish within the top 3 in the Drivers' Championship, he is free to go wherever he wants. So Red Bull need Max Verstappen to have the car. And at the moment, he doesn't have the car. What Max is doing is, I think, one of the most outstanding and remarkable individual performances among any sports athlete today, because he's taken the fourth fastest car and he's getting poles with it. He's getting wins with it. I've never seen someone carry so much of a load from a technical standpoint, but also from a professional standpoint. I mean, his father, Helmut Marko, the board, Christian Horner has allegations. He has no second driver. I mean, Max, kudos to him. I don't want to glaze him. I don't want to sound like I'm glazing him. I am, but watch out.
Yeah, he definitely has it. But I do have to go now. So make sure you guys, people, like I said, like, share, and subscribe. we're out because, like I said, F1 is going to be constantly coming back. So next week, where is it? Where is it next week again? You remind me. Where's it
We
next
are
week?
in one of the 2 home races Ferrari have, Imola.
Fair enough. But yeah, people, I'm going to close out. Like, share, subscribe. We're out. Take care.